Emily had always been an odd child, with a quiet intensity that unsettled everyone around her. From an early age, she seemed unafraid of the dark, unlike other children. She would often tell strange stories that made little sense to anyone but her. One evening, after returning home from a long day of work, Emily was in the living room, staring at the front door with an unsettling focus. Her eyes were wide, and there was an eerie stillness to her as she waited for something, or someone.
Emily, sweetie, are you okay?
I asked, my voice filled with concern. Emily slowly turned her head, her face blank, but her lips parted to whisper, I'm waiting for him. When I asked her who she was waiting for, Emily whispered, the man who visits at night. He says he can help me. I thought she was imagining things, but there was an unsettling certainty in her voice. The next few days were filled with strange occurrences. I'd hear Emily whispering to herself in the middle of the night. When I checked on her, she would often be standing by the window, staring into the darkness with an unnerving calmness. One night, I woke up to strange whispers coming from Emily's room. It was faint at first, but it grew louder as I walked down the hall. I could hear her voice, but it wasn't quite right, almost as if it wasn't her at all. I pushed the door open and found Emily sitting on her bed, staring into a cracked mirror. Her face was pale, and her eyes were locked on the reflection of a man who wasn't supposed to be there. Pale, gaunt, with black eyes that seemed to absorb all light.
Who are you talking to?
I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Emily slowly turned to me, her face returning to normal. She whispered, he's here, Mommy. He's helping me. I tried to take the mirror away from her, but she clutched it fiercely, her fingers digging into the glass. The whispers grew louder, clearer, as if something was trying to make itself known. The next morning, I checked the mirror for any markings, anything that could explain what was happening. That's when I found the faint inscription on the back of the frame. It read, "He who calls may never escape." A cold knot formed in my stomach as I read the inscription. Was this some kind of warning? Or had Emily unknowingly invited something into our lives that we couldn't get rid of? The next few days passed without incident, but the atmosphere in the house felt different. It was as though something had shifted, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching us.
One evening, a stranger came to our door.
He was a man I didn't recognize, with pale skin and dark hollow eyes. He introduced himself as Mr. Elias, and he said he had come to check on Emily. I've known Emily for a long time, Mr. Elias said, his voice smooth and calm.
She's very special, you know.
His words sent a chill down my spine. I didn't let him inside. His presence was too unsettling. How do you know Emily? I asked, trying to hide my panic. I've known her for a long time, he replied cryptically, before turning and walking away into the night. That night, I checked on Emily again. She was sleeping, but something felt off. I reached out to touch her shoulder, but she woke with a start. Mommy, he's here, she whispered. He's waiting for you. I turned to the window, but it was empty. However, the feeling of being watched never left.
The whispers started again, louder and more insistent than before, coming from behind the mirror.
I grabbed the mirror, desperate to rid myself of it, but as I pulled it from the wall, I felt a cold hand grip my wrist. I screamed, but no sound came out. The room grew even colder. I ran from the room, but when I turned back, Emily was gone. The bed was empty, and the only thing left was the mirror, its reflection showing a shadow standing behind me. I searched everywhere for Emily, but it was as if she had vanished. No one remembered her. No one knew who she was. All I have left is the mirror, and the whispers that won't stop.